All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about AI investing. We're going to break down exactly how you can use this amazing technology to start building your own fortune. And here's the best part, it's simple. Let's do this.
So think about this for a second. What's our biggest weakness when it comes to money? It's emotion, right? It's that knot in your stomach when the market drops that makes you want to sell everything. It's the fear of missing out that makes you buy at the absolute peak. But what if we could just switch that off? That's the whole idea here. AI is the tool that takes our biggest flaw and turns it into our biggest asset.
Now, to really appreciate what a huge leap forward this is, we've got to look back at the old way of doing things. The old money game. A game that for most of us always felt kind of confusing and, frankly, stacked against the little guy.
And this, right here, just lays it all out so perfectly. The old game runs on gut feelings, on scary headlines, on our own biases. It's slow. We hear some news and maybe react the next day. But the new game? It's the total opposite. It's all about pure logic, cold hard data, and it makes moves in milliseconds without a single shred of fear or greed.
I absolutely love this analogy. It just hits the nail on the head. Imagine the world's financial data is a giant, dark cave. The smartest human analyst in the world, they've got a flashlight. They can see a little piece of it really well. But AI doesn't need a flashlight. It just flips a switch and lights up the entire cave, all at once. It sees everything.
Okay, so that's the problem with the old way. But what's the solution? Well, let's meet our new best friend on this journey. Let's talk about your AI helper, the thing that really levels the playing field.
So what is this stuff really? Forget about sci-fi robots and all that. The best way to think about it is like a super smart calculator. I mean, a calculator that's seen every market move in history, that can do billions of calculations a second, and that never, ever gets tired or emotional or needs a coffee break.
Now, you've basically got two main choices in the AI world. Over on the right, you have the high-speed trading bots. Think of them as aggressive hunters, chasing tiny profits every single second. That's a whole other world. For our journey today, we're focusing on the left, the robo-advisor. This is the steady hand. It's built for long-term, automatic growth, and honestly, it's the perfect place for beginners to start.
So what makes this thing tick? What does it eat for breakfast every morning? Well, a ton of data. First, it gobbles up decades of market history to learn from the past. Then, it instantly reads through these super dense financial reports, the kind that would take a person days to get through. And here's the coolest part, it analyzes what's called unstructured data. It's literally reading the mood of the market from millions of news articles and social media posts.
All right, this is where it gets real. Enough with the theory. Let's turn this into action. Think of this as your very first mission, an exciting and totally doable quest that begins right now. $100. That's it. Probably the biggest myth about investing is that you need a huge pile of money to even get in the door. It's just not true. What's way more powerful than a big starting number is time and consistency. Just starting is the most important step. And you might be wondering, how can my $100 buy a piece of a company whose stock costs thousands? Well, it's because of something called fractional shares. It just means you don't have to buy a whole share. You can buy a little piece of it. So that $100 can be spread across all the biggest, most successful companies in the world right from day one.
So how long does this epic quest take to begin? About 3 minutes. Seriously, you download an app, just like any other app. You answer a few really simple questions so the AI can get to know you and your goals. You securely link your bank, and then you make that first deposit. It's that easy.
Okay, one of those key questions the app will ask is about your risk level. And it's really simple. It's basically about your timeline. If you have, say, 20 or 30 years until retirement, the AI will probably suggest an aggressive portfolio, heavy on stocks for growth. If you need the money in just a few years, it'll lean more conservative, heavy on stable things like bonds. The point is, the AI builds a strategy that actually fits your life.
So you're all set up. Now we get to the most important part of all, the secret knowledge. And it's not about trying to pick the next hot stock. Nope. It's all about adopting a disciplined, hands-off strategy.
This quote just nails it. Your investment is a garden. You plant the first seed with that initial deposit. You water it with small, regular contributions. Maybe you set it to do it automatically every week or month. And then you let it be. You trust the process. You don't go digging up the seeds every day to see if they're growing, right? Patience is your absolute superpower here.
Now, while you're being patient, your AI helper is busy doing its most important job. It's called rebalancing. Let's say your plan is 80% stocks and 20% bonds. If stocks have a great month and suddenly they're 85% of your portfolio, the AI automatically sells a little bit of that stock that's selling high and buys some bonds to get you back to your 80-20 target. It does the hardest thing in investing for you automatically.
And this right here, this is a huge mental shift. When the market drops 10 or 20%, our human brain screams panic. But the AI is programmed to see it as a discount sale. Everything's on sale. It's the best time to be buying. And because your contributions are automatic, you'll be taking advantage of these sales without even having to think about it.
Okay, we're building this wealth. We're being patient, but is it safe? Let's get into our final section and talk about how your fortune is protected, making sure it's secure for the long haul. Your security really comes in three main layers. First, there's stuff like SIPC insurance, which protects your investments up to $500,000 if the company you're investing with goes out of business. Second, there's bank-level encryption to keep your personal data locked down tight. And third, maybe the most important shield of all, is the AI's logic itself. It protects you from your own worst enemy, your own emotional impulses.
Of course, security is a partnership. You have to do your part too, and these things are non-negotiable. Use a password for your investment app that is strong and that you don't use anywhere else. Always, always turn on two-factor authentication. It's the single best thing you can do. And please, never log into your financial accounts on public Wi-Fi.
So there you have it. We've seen how AI can take investing from something that feels complicated and scary and turn it into a process that's simple, logical, and open to absolutely everyone. The tools are there. The path is clear. So the only real question left is the one right here. Your financial future is a story. Are you ready to be the author?